Wow. What a conversation I just had with my new friend, Aaron Haven. We are two kindred souls, and I'm so glad to know him now and know more about his business that is growing at crazy, crazy great rates. But also to hear how he's lived his life with his family, the pivots he's made within his business, the way that he's gotten into coaching, the ways that he's serving, and a couple offerings that he offers to our audience. So this is my new friend, Aaron. Welcome to Market Mavericks. I'm Matthew Eford. Join me as I speak with leaders who are redefining industries in every corner of the market. From startups to established businesses, we'll uncover the strategies, challenges, and insights that drive success. Get ready to be inspired by the Mavericks who are shaping the future of business. Welcome, everyone, to Market Mavericks. I have my new friend here with me, Aaron Havens. Aaron is, we have a mutual friend, Jonathan, who connected us. And Aaron, I'm so excited to hear about your story. I heard a lot about the chicken cone, and it's been an excellent episode for our audience to learn. But those who don't know you, Aaron, introduce yourself. Who is Aaron Havens, and what business do you currently run?
Oh, wow. Okay. Hey, thank you for letting me be a part. An honor. Yeah, I'm Aaron Havens, and I celebrated last week my 50th birthday. Do you know there's
Congratulations.
an
That is
actual title
fantastic.
for that?
No, I
Yeah.
did not know that.
Yeah,
What is
there's a
that?
title, quadragenarian. That's the ages between 50 to 59. So I'm officially a quadragenarian.
Wow. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. Jonathan and I, the person that you just mentioned, we've been friends since third grade, best friends since third grade. And so it's an honor to be his friend and a great man. And I'm honored to speak with anyone that he recommends. So following you recently and being able to speak with you today, I'm looking forward to it. But Aaron
Love
Havens
it.
is a quadragenarian. I've been married for 26 years, two daughters that are grown, married. They're out of the house.
Congratulations.
They didn't die. We did okay.
That's fantastic. So, how is empty nesting life?
Oh, empty nesting. That's rough. For all of you that are coming up behind that still have kids, you're looking at it like the golden years, and it could be. It really can be. But it is a rough thing. In 1 year, I like switched my main occupation, moved houses, my dog died, both kids got married. My wife and I are
Wow.
looking at it like, what can we do
Wow.
any different? It was
What
a
a
lot of
year.
change, but
What a
we're
year.
into it now. Yeah.
So, Aaron, what's the business that you currently run?
Yeah, I run a couple. The two that I'm really focused on right now, one of them is called Sky Service Pros. And that's something that's been around for about 12 years.
Okay.
I had moved from one town to where I'm at now in Colorado, in Greeley, Colorado. I moved here to plant a church, start a church.
Nice.
So I moved here, started the church, was great, but I had these horrible habits, and they were like eating, sleeping in a house, those horrible habits. I couldn't break them. And so
Yeah.
I had to somehow support those habits with my two daughters and my wife. And so we started a window washing company. And so Sky Service Pros is a window washing company. That's what it started with. And then through the years, it's kind of pivoted and grown and changed. That's a fancy word, pivot,
Okay.
right? But I think COVID, that was the word that kind of everyone was throwing out there. But during
Sure.
COVID, we were doing a bunch of residential and commercial windows, and we decided to say, how can we help support the local businesses, our friends, to stay open? So we took on COVID disinfecting spraying. We had all
Oh,
the
yeah.
equipment,
Yeah. Yeah. The
electrostatic,
electrostatic. Yeah.
magnetic
Cool.
equipment, and we did all that, which then thrusted us into janitorial work. So mainly right now, Sky Service Pros is a window washing for commercial and residential. We do janitorial custodial work, and we do post-construction cleaning. So
Wow.
that
Okay.
it takes a good portion of my time. But then I also do Growth Instigators, and that is my coaching and consulting that I do for businesses and individuals. So those are my
That's,
two focuses these days.
so let's take each one of those at a time. So you start doing window washing, and are you just
Yeah,
washing the exterior of the window, or are you doing inside and outside?
doing both
Okay.
interior and exterior.
So
Yeah,
so you are going somewhat inside the building, but then COVID hits.
yeah, yeah,
COVID wrecks a lot of businesses, but it also produces a tremendous amount of opportunity.
right.
The electrostatic stuff was incredible. Do you
Yeah.
still use that equipment or no? Was that just during COVID?
Yeah, yeah, we do. I don't know how we had the foresight to have this fancy equipment literally a month before COVID hit. I had no idea that this was going to be something, but I was just getting it because we were starting to get into businesses a little bit. But my wife was a school teacher and still is. And I'm like, we need to spray your room when that
Yeah.
germ gets up in there. And
Yeah,
so
sure.
that was one of the reasons that we got that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fascinating. And so you're 4 years into doing this. If you don't mind me asking, this may be a little too personal. What percentage of your revenue is your pre-pivot versus post-pivot? Is it the window
Yeah.
washing still
Yeah.
dominate, or is it the other two? Have they
Yeah.
taken over, exceeded? What does that look like?
Right. In fact, we just closed a couple of really big contracts. Now we're doing schools, big
Wow.
businesses,
Okay. Yeah.
office cleaning and janitorial stuff. I would say we're nearly 50-50 right now. In 4 years, it's made,
Wow.
I mean, a 50% turnaround from we were doing big. We still have a bunch of commercial and residential window
Sure.
washing,
But
contracts,
but
but
you're 8 years
more and
into your
more.
business. COVID
Hmm.
hits. You
Yep.
then pivot. You add a new service
Yep.
line because
Yep.
the service is demanding it.
Yep.
Now imagine your business is twice as
Yeah.
big as it could have been
Right.
because
Yeah.
of how you've added that new service line.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what advice?
Go
Let me
ahead.
drill in just there for a second.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to somebody who has their core business? They're
Right.
a Jim Collins flywheel. I'm just going to stick with. I'm good at this. Just going to put my head down and keep doing that. Versus your
Yeah.
experience of, I'm still doing that, but man, I've got this other opportunity I'm going to add. It's in line with what we're doing.
Yeah.
It doesn't take away from our core business, but
Yes.
it's a good add-on. What advice would you give to somebody there?
Yeah, I think you said it right there at the end. And that is literally, it doesn't take away from what you're doing. It's not so far out that you're reinventing and basically starting a whole nother company. Like, what are you doing already that when you go to the cash register, you're going to impulse buy?
Yeah, I love
You're
that.
already in the grocery store. What are you going to do where you can keep your same team doing the same stuff, offer a little bit of different offering, maybe upsell or experiment a little without getting way out there? Don't just go, I'm doing window washing. Now I'm going to start making t-shirts.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Sure.
Yeah.
But are
Yeah.
you utilizing is the same person, and when you're hiring staff, you're hiring a technician,
Yeah.
you're training them how to do window washing. Are you also
Yeah.
training them how to do the other service lines, or that's no,
Absolutely.
you're actually building separate teams?
Yep, absolutely. And more, I think, as we're growing, it's kind of dividing a little bit into divisions. There's
Sure.
some people that don't do that, but the majority, the core of our people can do both. Any given day, they're going to open up their scheduling app and go, oh, I'm washing windows today. Oh no, I'm going in cleaning toilets today,
Yeah, cool. That
Yeah.
it's a lot of variety, and I like that.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So
Yeah.
do you offer that? Where's your territory? Where do you service? Is it just Greeley, Colorado? Are y'all nationwide? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, we are just Greeley. And I say Greeley, we're northern Colorado. And
Okay.
when I say northern Colorado, we drive down into Denver. And when I say drive
Wow.
down into
Okay.
Denver, we even go up into the mountains called Winter Park. So
Oh yeah.
we have like I got a problem. And the problem is I really like the people that we do business with. Like our clients we've had for a long time. And as they grow, we grow with them. They're like, well, we know we're going to open a
I
spot
love
in
that.
Denver. Will you
Yeah, I
drive
love
an
that.
hour and a half? I'm like, you know what? We will drive an hour and a half. And so just slowly reputation and slowly relationships have just gotten us to grow. Now we're driving 3 hours away for some of these big, big jobs that we have.
Sure. So
Yeah.
so you're building that team, and then you
Yeah.
have the other side that you shared with us, the coaching.
Yeah.
When did you start that? What was kind of the start up of that? Tell us about that.
I think it's just business. I was a pastor for 25 years, and I was pastors in large churches where we got to see duplication. And so we'd have a
Okay.
central campus, and then we would, do campuses across America and online presence and all this stuff. So in my mind, I'm always thinking duplication,
Yeah.
and I'm always thinking leadership. In fact, for Sky Service Pros, the company we talked about a minute ago, what we say is we're a leadership development company.
I love that.
We've got a podcast. We talk to our people intensely about they're not going to be with us forever.
Yeah.
So whenever they transition, we want them to be better humans. They've
Yeah.
learned some things. And so my whole life, I've really been doing leadership, professional life, in church world and starting up and some franchising stuff. So I've already been thinking about that. But I would say specifically about 5 years ago, I said, all right, here's what we're going to do. I'm doing business, but I also really am passionate about leadership development, whether it's personal or professional. And I call it growth instigators
Okay.
because growth is painful sometimes. And I'm good at instigating growth in people, places, and things. And so about
Okay.
5 years ago, I started doing that and just as a hobby to see if I had the chops to do it. it's working. It's
I
working.
love it.
So now I'm
I
getting a
love
little
it.
more intentional. Yeah.
So are you doing, is it an online mastermind group? Is it look like one-on-one coaching? Is it going and speaking at conferences? Give us a little bit more details of kind of what the service lines look like in that.
Yeah, thank you. It's not mastermind group yet, even though this last week I've been throwing about 10 texts out to people saying you want to be part of this at this price point, which is kind of high, and they're all like, "Yes, let's go."
Wow. Okay,
So
let's
we're moving
go.
that direction, which is great. I've personally been part of a mastermind group for 15 years, and it's been beneficial on every level. So I highly recommend that, and I will get there, but it's more for growth instigators right now in this startup stage, just personal dashboard coaching,
Okay.
one-on-one with individuals, and then it usually grows into then working with that business and talking about the ecosystem of the business. And those are bigger, longer, more detailed contracts, but it really starts on the personal level.
I love that.
Yeah.
So while we're on growth instigators, let's go ahead and talk about what was, you said 5 years ago, so pre-COVID. What was the first 12 months prior to COVID hitting? Because obviously that's going to be very unique. What's the good, the bad, the ugly? How did you start that? What does that look like?
With growth instigators.
Yeah.
Yeah, with growth instigators, good, bad, and ugly, and getting started was really just for our people, for Sky Service Pros.
Okay.
What can we do to do development, leadership development with our people?
Nice.
So creating SOPs, creating standards, operating procedures, these kinds of things, and KPIs, like all the business stuff that, for or for Sky Service Pros, it's typically a high school or college age. This is their first
Yeah.
job. I don't know how many people in Sky Service Pros, we literally walked them to the bank to open up their first bank account,
I
that kind
love
of
that.
stuff.
Yeah, I
And
love that.
so I had to rethink. I'm not now leading big high level business leaders. We're leading 18, 19, 20, 21 year olds. So the good, the bad, the ugly was I had to back up a little bit. I had to go, okay, where was I at 18, 19?
Sure.
What did I need? What did I wish I got at that age? So that took me a while to figure out.
Yeah, it definitely does. And I
Yeah.
actually was sharing with some friends yesterday our mentality, my mentality, the Lord kind of pushed me in this direction a few years ago is to be more open handed with our staff and to
Yeah.
take the perspective. You basically said the exact same thing that I say. Whenever I interview somebody, number one, I'm upfront with my faith. But number two, I'm very upfront with you will work with us for a season.
Yep.
My goal as the
Yep.
owner and the
Yep.
CEO here is to invest in you during this season to elongate that season with me.
Very
But
good.
you eventually will leave. I know
Mhm.
that. Either you will retire here or you will
Yep.
move or you're moved to another job. So my goal is that you're better when you leave here.
That's good.
And
Yeah.
so I love that perspective. I love that you're doing that because you're starting to attract the right type of employee, right? You're
Yeah.
putting that, you're
Yeah.
developing your culture. So talk to us about that in your window
Yeah.
cleaning. How have you defined out culture within that? And how do you as the leader, how do you continue to push forward and implement culture?
Wow. Yeah, I think it starts with, well, one, congratulations the way that you're doing it, because I think that's the right way to do that.
Thank you.
It has to be. We got to be about people, right? Like
Yeah.
helping our people be the best versions that they can possibly be. And so sometimes it looks different. It looks different. Sometimes it literally means like, hey, we're gonna have a hard conversation today. Come ready. Come ready for it.
Yeah.
I'm not just gonna let this slide. Like we're gonna have, but it also comes with like what we just did last weekend, a huge celebration. We took all of our people to the dinner theater and said, we had a great
Oh,
year,
cool. Yeah, cool.
here we go. And so creating a culture where you give the praises where the praises are due, but you also, and I think this is where companies sometimes miss it, is we can oftentimes take on the responsibility of somebody when they drop the ball and be
Yeah.
like, oh, don't worry about it. No, if I'm going to praise you, I'm also going to not correct you, but we're going to enter those hard conversations as well. And I think that really helps culture is because it's a holistic thing because we're not always going to be like on our best game. There's gonna be days where we show up and we did not perform. So
Yeah.
how do we train our people or walk with our people to be better versions even in those scenarios?
I love that. Yeah, our
Yeah,
our first core value is feedback, give and receive accountability. And so we do that from the top down. It's like, hey,
yeah,
again, we want to be better. We want to continue to improve. We're going to make
yeah,
mistakes, but we always say we want to fail forward. So we
Hmm.
make the mistake, we learn from the mistake, and we move forward.
Yep.
It's not that we can't make mistakes, but we don't want to
Yeah.
continue to make them. We want to
Yeah.
improve, we want to learn from them, and we want to continue to grow. So I love that
Yeah.
you're implementing that. And I love that you're able to do that with your team to celebrate, right? Because celebrations are fun. The dinner theater, what a great opportunity for you to get your team together and say, hey, a rising tide rises all ships. We've had a great year. This has been a blessing to me as the owner, but to you and your family and the impact it's made in the community. And now let's celebrate. That's fun.
Yep. Yep.
I
Yep.
love that y'all are doing that. So talk to us. We love to hear people's mistakes, right? I mean, you've made them. I've made plenty. I've made enough for both of us. So tell us a mistake that you've made over the life of your business and what's something specifically that you learned from it.
Yeah, this one's pretty easy because these are raw. I mean, I think we're just recovering from a season where it was a lot. I um I like to trust people maybe a little too much.
Okay.
I like to empower people maybe a little too quickly. And that's been hard. If you're in leadership development, you want to give people little bite sizes. Don't give them the whole thing. Don't count on them too early, too fast. And I think that's something that we've definitely learned over the last couple of years is that you may have a dream for somebody and you can see that it's going to be great. Like if they stay with you, they're going to be wonderful.
Yeah.
And you believe it because it's your company, but you can also, I think Henry Blackaby said spiritual leadership is knowing what God has for somebody, maybe even before they know it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so as owners, hopefully what we're doing is we're considering how to make or help or prod or instigate or facilitate our people to be better versions of themselves. And so as you're doing that, you need to know, like, don't get way too excited for them because they may not see that big vision yet. Like, give them little bite sizes, let them perform, let them fail, let them actually have to sweat and want to be part of it, not handed to them like, hey, here's my whole company. And then
Yeah. I love that.
they leave because opportunity B comes along, or they just change their mind and they're young and they whatever want to go surfing the rest of their life. And now you're left holding a shrapnel because you tried to build it, scaffold it around somebody that wasn't ready yet.
That's fantastic advice, and I appreciate that. I've done that many, many times. My personality is I'm very trusting. I'm just a very
Yeah.
trusting person. But once my trust is broken, it is
Yeah.
so hard to get it back. And the
Yep.
Lord's working in me on that. I continue to try to die on that hill of learning, but grace and forgiveness is important. So you
Yeah.
mentioned about the development of people, giving them bite size. Can you give any
Yeah.
additional information around that? What does that look like
Yeah.
for you? Is that structured time? Or are you saying, hey, I've got a young leader, I'm going to meet with them once a month, once a quarter, once a week? What does that
Yeah.
look like for you to kind of give them bite size little bits of the overall picture and help them grow?
Yeah, I think it changes, with every season. I'll just say that with the season that we're in right now, we meet once a week in person. Like that to me is just so important that we do that. And not everyone's there every time because of jobs or traveling or whatever, but that's
Sure.
important. We mess around and we play and we laugh and have a good time, and then we get serious and we talk about hard things or good things or dreams or whatever. And those are short because attention spans are short.
Yeah.
So 30, 45 minutes, we get all that done, just in that meeting time. But the wonderful thing of technology now is that we can do so much with technology. Like, hey guys, I just saw this YouTube, check it out on how to do sales or whatever it may be. Like,
Nice.
here's some chops that'll make it better, or hey, honestly, here's a podcast, listen to it when you come to the meeting on Monday. We're going to talk about this. Come with 3 points, whatever that may be. So it's just holistic. It's not just like right here we're training it. We can do multiple touch points through the week that are non-invasive to our people where they're like, yeah, I like that. Thanks for that quick text of encouragement or whatever that may be. So utilize technology, quite a bit in that. But down to the practical level, like you come to Sky Service Pros, our quality has got to be high. And so you have checklists. You got to make sure you're doing your
Sure.
checklist and walking through that. And when you're doing that and you're doing it consistently and you're getting 5-star reviews, then you become a manager, and now you're managing people and you're managing the checklist. And so just little bite sizes like that until you're now making sales calls and talking to the customers directly. So just a little bit at a time.
I love that. I think it's a great point because you're giving your employees, especially the A players or the want to be A players, you're giving them a path to success. You
Yeah.
as the leader, you're defining out what success looks like in your organization. Does it change? Of course it does. Does it change
Yeah.
with the iterations of your business? Of course it does. Can
Yeah.
employees have input into it? Of course they can. But
Yeah.
it's your responsibility as the CEO. You're defining out this is where our company's going. And now I'm going to bring you alongside me and
Yes.
bring you alongside the mission and the direction that we're going. I think that's such a powerful, here's step one, here's step two, here's step three.
Mm.
We've got steps. So if you want to be successful here, you can be successful instead of
Yeah.
just, hey, I clock in, I clock out, and I go home.
Right. No, that's
Right?
not going to make it.
It's not.
In the short term, that might make it, and we all need people kind of like that that are clock in and clock out. But you're not going to make it in Sky Service Pros like that because that's just not what we're looking for. We want to develop people.
Yeah.
One of our big success stories is one of our longest standing employee. We were giving them an opportunity to almost come into ownership. Like
Wow.
we're talking big levels of just experimenting here, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Buying in ownership,
Yeah.
double down because we knew that this person wanted to run business and they were very good at it. But in fact, what ended up happening is we consulted them and coached them out of our company. Like,
Wow.
no, you actually
Yeah.
need to run
Wow.
a business. And so they
Yeah.
opened a business. It's not a competing business, but they opened a business. It's actually auto glass, like repairing
Yeah.
auto
Cool.
glass. We don't do that, So, but we mentor them and continue to mentor them. We're like, this is going to hurt because you are very valuable for us. But as a human, you are going to be better over here.
Yeah.
And that's
I
a
love that.
success story to me.
I love
Yeah.
that. But see, what's amazing is one, you're honoring the Lord, and you never know the next person that you're going to hire what they're
Right.
going to do, right? And
Right.
so when the Lord moves someone out, He always moves somebody else in. And if
Yep.
we're faithful to follow Him, a lot of
Yep.
times that next person that moves in it takes you places you're like, I never ever would have seen this.
Yeah.
Number one, but
Right.
number two is you're also showing your employees, the other ones who are there, of like, wow, Aaron really cares. He
Mm.
really cares about me. I can remember this was several years ago. I saw a meme, I think it was on LinkedIn, and it was a CEO and CFO talking. And the CFO says, sir, we cannot afford to invest in our people. And he said, what if they leave? What if we invest in them and they leave? And the
Yeah.
CEO says, what if we don't and they stay?
Yeah.
And I was
Totally.
just like, wow, okay, now we're talking. That makes sense to me. It's like,
Yeah.
if I don't make the investment to invest in my people, what if they do stay and
Yeah.
they become stagnant? Now
Yeah.
my organization becomes stagnant.
Yeah.
I should have made that investment. And then I should have given them opportunities to be able to continue to grow and learn. And so I love that you're doing that. So
Yeah.
Aaron, talk to me about, you mentioned your daughters.
Right.
You're an empty nester now, so it's a
Yeah.
different season of life for you, which is really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I am not there. At home. I have a 6, 3, and 1 year old. So
Okay. Yeah,
we're
you
we
got a bit.
it feels like we got a long, long way to go.
You got a
So
long road. That's
we
fine.
got a long road. But talk to us about in the start of your business. So 12 years ago, and then
Yeah.
even before your daughters left, what did you find was successful for you to help navigate the balance, the pull between
Yeah.
work life and home life? Their balance is a myth, even though it's just naturally you say it. But balance, there's nothing ever in perfect balance. But how did you navigate that pull? What advice would you give to an
Oh
entrepreneur who's
my
listening?
goodness, man. That might not be a good question to ask me. Like I go back to the recesses in my mind to the start of Sky Service Pros, and we're starting a church from scratch. I'm starting Sky Service Pros to, support my bad habits of eating and
Sure,
sleeping in a house. I'm
sure.
going to seminary at the same time. And
Wow,
my oldest daughter, I think is 12, 13, something in there. But man, I want to develop them too. I want to develop my daughters. And so literally from day one, I'm talking to my oldest daughter, not my youngest yet. I'm like, hey, have you ever thought about washing windows? Have you ever thought about,
I love
she
that.
started washing windows at like 13 and a half.
I love it.
And she did it all the way through high school and college. There's days when she would be, getting on the bus at 5 in the morning to go to a volleyball tournament. But before that, she had washed windows for an hour already. And so
Wow.
it was really fun. It's just having a business that my daughters, both of them, and my wife for a time too, we're putting our hands to this plow and we're doing it together. So That's not a good question to ask me, because the way to balance that is just bring them into it. Like, there's no separation of church and state here. Like, family times work times family time, and it was so fun. Yeah,
But I love that. And I love that distinction, right, Aaron? It's so often we as business owners, some of the greatest moments I've had with my boys over the last couple of years is when I take them with me. If
yeah,
it's on a sales call, if it's stopping by seeing a crew, if it's
yeah,
going to the office, if it's going to a client and talking to a client, like there's something about them seeing, especially you as a dad, but their
yeah,
parents work.
yeah,
There's so much value in that. And
yeah,
especially, as a business owner, like we get to do fun things, we get to go to cool places, and it's like this is not all that the work is included. This is not what all it entails. So it's nice to show them that. But what a gift you gave your daughters. They had
yeah,
time with you. They got to make an impact on the family business. They got to
yeah,
learn all those skills, that they
yeah.
got to learn how to work hard. And the harder you work in life, the easier the rest of your life becomes. And when you
Mm.
get to that volleyball game and it's hard, it's like, well, I do hard things. In our family, we say that our family does hard things. We just
Yeah,
do. We
yeah,
don't avoid them.
yeah.
So I love that response. I haven't heard somebody say that yet, but I definitely love that, and I'm definitely I'm gonna take that for myself for sure. So
Yeah. Oh, it's not all noble. Like, I mean, there's some selfishness too. Imagine this. Do
they're
you
a lot
want
cheaper
Aaron?
employees.
Do you want? Yeah. Well, no. She actually ended up paying him way too much. I'm like,
Okay,
okay, that's
okay.
another thing I would say. Don't like give your company to your daughters. I'm like, how much did you make? All right. But who would you rather? Like, okay, you're at your house, right? Your windows are super dirty, and someone knocks on the door, and it's me. I'm like, hey, you want your windows washed? Or it's a 17-year-old put together young lady who's like,
Yeah.
hey, I want. Who are you going to be like?
Of
Nah, I'm going to
course.
get that.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Yeah, anytime my boys go, it's they so our oldest son, Walker, who's almost 7,
Great.
he's a great negotiator. He's a fantastic, and he's not great, he's a fantastic negotiator. And he's a great little salesman. And I'm so excited when he gets a little bit up, a little bit higher up on the years that he's gonna be riding around doing some sales calls with us, which
Good
will be a
job,
lot of
Dad.
fun.
Good
Yeah,
job.
it'll be fun. So, Aaron, how you mentioned
Yeah.
your mastermind group earlier? You've been in that
Yeah.
15 years. How talk to me about how you've leveraged that in terms of mentorship, what that mastermind's meant to you in the growth of your organizations. How have you used that to grow your organizations?
Yeah. So I go back a long time being a part of a group of men that are around me that I was like, hey, I like you guys and I want to hang out with you a whole lot more, period. I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know what it's about even. I just know that once a month I want to get together, sit at the table with you, talk about whatever it may be, whether, it's one of your wonderful podcasts or a book or something, or just life in general. And that's like iron on iron kind of stuff.
Yeah, I
The
love that.
things that we've talked about in that room, you'd have been embarrassed if you were in last month's meeting with one of my guys that was punching at me, and he should have been. He's known me for a while, and he had to call me to the table on a couple things, and I'm thankful for that. Like, hey, I may be a coach, I may be a business leader and have some success in my life, but man, coaches need coaches, and we need
Yeah,
people around us that we're going to share life with. We're going to be honest. We're going to get feedback, all that stuff. So I would say masterminds are huge. They've been huge in my life. So I think that's why I'm really prodding towards starting official mastermind groups to say
sure.
there's a lot of people out there. I've seen the benefit. It is 100%. I wouldn't be where I'm at today without a mastermind group, men around me, people around me that are doing this. And so that's why I'm kind of prodding towards, all right, let's get official here. Let's do this
Yeah,
thing.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Proverbs 13:20. He who walks with the wise becomes wise, but the companion of fools suffers harm. I mean, I've said
Yeah.
that 100 times on this podcast. It is
Yeah.
one of my life verses. I love the idea of surrounding yourself with good people.
Yeah.
Show me who you hang out with. I'll show you the direction you're going to go.
Right.
It's so crucial,
Yep.
especially as you look at those who don't own a business yet. They're a entrepreneur that's listening to this and they think, I can go out and I know everything. That you get hit in the face with things that you would never have ever thought about. It
Right.
doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't matter how much you Google. There's just situations that come up that it's so nice to be able to come to a table of like-minded people and say, hey, here's my issue. And those like-minded people have no vested interest in your success outside of their love for you and their
Right.
care for you. They're not
Yeah.
tied to your business. You're not asking employees. They're
Yeah.
not your family. They're not
Yeah.
saying, hey, is the business going under? No, these are completely quote unquote unbiased people that can tell you, hey, Aaron, yeah, you're being a doofus. You need to
Yeah.
stop doing that.
Yeah.
Or, no, that's a fantastic idea, Aaron. I think you should do that. Here's when I
Yeah.
did that 3 years ago, and here's the impact it's made my business.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love masterminds. I love. Another thing that we talk about a lot on this podcast is books. I'm an
Right.
avid reader. I love it. I love reading. Um, during seminary, you had to read a tremendous amount. So
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
it can be a faith-based book. It can be a business-based book. But what's a book over the last several years that you've read that's made a big impact in your life?
Oh man, that's hilarious because I'm literally, and I didn't know you were going to ask me this one, but I'm literally on my desk, picked up Falling Upward.
Okay.
Um, Falling Upward is a book by Richard Rohr, and I just turned 50. And so there's a lot of things you have to process when you turn 50 and you're thinking about things. But this Falling Upward it talks about like two separate parts of life, your first half and your second half. I've bought hundreds of these copies. I've given them away to a lot of people.
Wow.
It is a fantastic book. And in my coaching alone, like when I sit with individuals, I'm talking about the first half of life and the second half of life. How can we turn into 50, move into our, decades, from 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50 with energy and synergy and excited and not like, oh no, I'm 30 now, I'm 40 now. And so
Yeah.
this book has been really beneficial for that.
I love that.
Yeah.
I will definitely, I'll add that in show notes. I will definitely add that to my list. I will be
Yeah.
excited to read that
Yeah.
one for sure. One
Yeah.
of the things that we love to talk about, Aaron, I appreciate your time. Where we're kind of coming up on the end of it, and be respectful of it. So I got a couple of questions I always love to end on. Number
Okay.
one, we love to focus on commitments, not just goals around here. A goal is something that we can do or not do. It's not as strong as this idea of a commitment. So in the new year in 2025, what is a commitment that you have for your organizations?
Man, okay. I immediately jump into growth instigators, my coaching and consulting,
Okay,
because that's the thing I'm pouring a lot of time into. Right now, I have a business partner for Sky Service Pros, and it's going really well. We're not letting off the gas at all, but we're
sure.
going okay. Going, you know what, for a season, let's let that continue to be its thing and continue to do it. But for growth instigators, it's literally like, all right, get the website rocking, get the podcast going, get people around me. Like, let's go get this mastermind thing started. Like, let's get commitments on the table and be very purposed over the next 3 months. Where it's like, no, we're starting. You want to go with us? Let's do this thing.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. All right, so
Yeah.
I've got to add another question just because you brought it up.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your business partner. At what point did you bring on a business partner in the window cleaning? What did that look like? Because there's a lot of people out there that say the only ships that sink are partnerships. I am not
Yeah.
one of those people. I do not personally believe that, but give some hope to people who may be considering a partnership.
Here's what I would say: add value everywhere that you go.
Love it.
Just do that. So my business partner is April, and she is married, has 5 kids, and coming towards the end of like needing to stay home with all her kids, she
Nice.
contacted us and said, "Hey, she was part of our church. Can I wash windows? I just want to make a couple bucks." Well, little by little, this April gal that was just making a couple bucks started to sell contracts and starting to go to our chamber of commerce and starting networking. And
I
I'm like,
love it.
wait,
Yeah.
she's not getting clocked in to do this. But little by little, like we're walking into the office and now there's drinks. I'm like, where did these come from? She bought them with no reimbursement,
Wow. I love it.
needed. The decorations started showing up. She started making the places and spaces better everywhere that she went, to the point where you're like, you're adding so much value here. We can't lose you.
Yeah.
And so it was slowly like just being faithful every little step of the way. Do that, add value everywhere that you go. And I bet you doors are going to open up for you faster than you can even imagine.
I love it. That is, I couldn't have said it better myself. I love that so much. And kudos to April. That is really cool.
Yeah.
All right, so let's end on this, Aaron. Again, I appreciate
Yep.
your time. Appreciate the
Yep.
wisdom you shared with our
Thank you.
audience here. What's a piece of advice that you wish you would have had 10 years ago? Call it early in your business or even before you started window cleaning. What's a piece of advice you wish you would have had?
Consider, let it breathe.
Okay.
You don't have to
Yeah,
make
tell me
quick
more about that.
decisions.
Okay.
I mean, You don't have to be like, now a decision needs to be made. A lot of entrepreneurship is making quick decisions, those kinds of things. But consider, slow down, breathe. The world's not going to end if you don't get that contract. Like, be wise about what you're going to do. Don't run at it so fast that you get so thin that you look up and barely recognize yourself and the people around you, because you were just like, yes, 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 yes. Because you should make shirts or can make shirts, should you?
Yeah, I love
Probably
that.
not.
Yeah.
Consider, almost say like no to everything. Consider it until you say yes. But now you believe in your yes so much that it's going to be around for a long time.
I love it. I love it. I love that so much. Well, Aaron, brother, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, if they say, "Hey, I love Aaron. I love his personality. I love the way that he's leading within his organization, within the Growth Instigators," how do they get connected to that? And hopefully, by the time this comes out, we're going to have some more information to share about the mastermind. Where the Lord leads you on that. How does somebody get connected to you?
All right, I'll say on the everyday kind of thing, I have a thing called the Growth Instigator Hotline. It's 3-minute pre-recorded phone call. It's antiquated. You have to call in. And so it's a phone number.
I love that.
So
yeah,
here's
cool.
the phone number. You ready for the phone number?
Ready.
It's 970-306-6432. Okay. 970-306-6432. All my friends have it saved in their number, in their phone. They call it once a day. It's 3-minute leadership, and it's getting better. The other way is Growth Instigators with an S.com, growthinstigators.com. That's where you hear anything about my coaching, consulting personally and professionally. And there you go. Those are the two best areas.
I love it. That is fantastic. I will definitely add that to my list of phone calls to make. Is it going to be your lovely voice on the other end? Is it you recording those? Yeah,
absolutely. Nice. Yeah, it's wonderful. And then it'll say, leave a message after the beep. And then I get to hear your lovely voice.
Oh, I love it, man. That's awesome. Well, Aaron, thank you again for being a part. I'll make sure all the show notes are included so people can get connected to you and get connected to Growth Instigators, as well as that 3-minute lesson every day. I love that. Excellent. Everybody, thank you for joining us here on Market Mavericks. We will see you soon. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Market Mavericks. We hope you're walking away inspired and ready to take your own adventure to the next level. Don't forget to follow the show to keep up with our latest episodes. And if you enjoyed today's conversation, make sure to subscribe, share it with others who could benefit. And hey, if you know a market maverick who has a story that needs to be heard, please drop their name in the comments. We would love to bring their insights to the show. Until next time, keep pushing boundaries and leading with purpose.